Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is the Alchemical Oracle. I'm Lauren. Hey guys, previously known as Live Like Low, and I really appreciate you guys for coming through and tapping in with me again. Today is going to be a bit of a ramble, but it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and it's really about disconnecting from the bit. And for a lot of us, as I explain what the bit is, a lot of us are so connected to this bit, the predetermined role that we have either created for ourselves in the past or others have created for us. And therefore, we are acting in result to a character that no longer suits us or ever has. And it makes us suppress our true desires for whatever the heck other people have projected onto us that are just their own limitations and honestly just stuff that just doesn't make sense. And if you've seen any of my other videos, especially the one talking about um how to like our timeline jump, our 5 aspects of relativity series, I talk about how the ego, when it doesn't have enough information for a particular thing, but it has the outward projection, it will start to make shit up. Literally, just make it up right at the top of the dome right there. You know what I'm saying? Making shit up to make certain things make sense, even though it doesn't make sense in here. And that typically happens in childhood before we get a full grasp of who we are and we get really deeply connected with ourselves to where we could say, yeah, that doesn't make sense and that doesn't apply to me. And until we really get that realization through our thick fucking heads, friends, we will continue to believe dumb shit. Okay? Dumb shit. Like, there are certain things that are ritual, and we do them to put us in a certain state of mind. But then there becomes a point where ritual aspects of our lives become dogmatized. That is another aspect of how we are committing to the bit. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of this. There's one person who's so nice. They're just the nicest person that you know, okay? They are the people pleaser. They will go out of their way to do whatever for you because they care. They have a hard time accepting things, so you almost never have to pay them back. And they are committed to the bit. And the bit is, if I do, they love me. That's it. That's it. And you know what happens with those type of people? They're also addicted to doing. They can't sit down. They can't relax. They can't just shut the fuck up and be quiet because they're addicted to doing. And the reason why they're addicted to doing is because when they do, they get love. They get admiration. They get praise, right? And if someone has been raised in those circumstances, now they are committed to the bit of being a nice person. Just like if I am, let's say I'm coming into the occult space and then I become committed to the bit where I dress like a witch, I act like a witch, I dye my hair, I do my makeup, everything is aesthetically pleasing like a witch, but I don't really know shit about actual occult functions. Just committing to the bit. And some people never dive deep enough into the occult to get a real understanding of what the fuck is going on, or even witchcraft, or even the light side or the dark side or the gray side, whatever it is that you're practicing. Some people don't go deep enough to understand that a lot of the shit on the surface is just bullshit. It's just guardrails. It's stuff that you use to get to a specific point. And once you get to that point, all that shit falls away. It don't matter no more. I said it. It don't matter no more. It's still cute to do. It's very ritualized. So it's easy for you to use those things to manipulate frequencies and to be able to stagger yourself into a specific type of energy, right? But the thing is, if you're continuing to be committed to a bit that is below your understanding, like it's below where you are standing, then you are effectively putting yourself in a box. Does that make sense? And for a lot of people, you know, when you're sitting and you might go to a party or you might be around family and you'll see certain type of family members. Hold on. Whew. Expelled. Okay. Expel that demons over here. Oh, that's some shit my family say. Okay. But listen, you know, you always have one of those family members that is super duper religious. They are holier than thou, and everything is Jesus, praise the Lord. You know, I'm not with that weird pagan shit. Like, I am blah, 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 blah. And if anybody else curses except within the holy realm of holy whatever, it's a problem, right? Then you have that one uncle. It's always a man, okay? You sometimes have aunts like this, typically if they're masculine presenting, but it's usually an uncle. And they just crack jokes. Like, they are the joker, and they are committed to the bit of when they come around family, sometimes even in their personal life, where they are the jokester. They are the funny guy, and they play the bit of the funny guy. Even if they have other aspirations, you may not even get close to this person to really know who they are beside the jokes. Because someone that can joke all the time, just like a comedian, has deep fucking secrets. And the niggas is low-key suffering on the inside, joking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all committed to some type of bit. But today, I'm asking you a couple of questions. One, what bits are you committed to? Okay, what bits are you committed to? What type of things are you committed to? I'm not gonna lie, y'all. For a while, I was committed to the bit of being a nice girl. Then I was committed to the bit of being a good girl. And good girl and nice girl go hand in hand, okay? And I have a kink fetish about good girls, so it's very like in my nature to just continue on with the bit, okay? But now I'm not the bit. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not identifying with the bit anymore. I could put the bit on, I could play the bit, and I could take the bit off. The bit is like clothing now. And that's where I want you to be. Take the bit off, put the bit on. Take the bit off, get a new bit. If you're trying to, let's say, for example, I'm going to use this as a point of, say, we're doing a spell, or we're doing some type of manifesting ritual, right? We're doing some type of cleansing ritual. Now we're going to find the identity of where we want to be at the end of this work, right? Or at the end of this manifestation journey, whatever the fuck we're doing, right? What's the end result? We're creating a bit. Do you not realize that? We're creating a bit, and then we're putting the bit on, and we're saying, I'm this bit now, okay? If I want to be a rich bitch, I gotta put a rich bitch bit on, right? Now, that doesn't mean I have to identify with the bit, but at certain aspects of my reality where I'm still currently not able to relate to the reality of someone or something that is out of my reach, the bit comes in. Does that make sense? The bit comes in to project onto me the reality of the bit. Some of us are living the bit of the broke friend. Some of us are living the bit. Oh man, that shit just hit so hard. Some of us are living the bit as the broke friend. Some of us are living the bit of poverty. Some of us are living in the bit of just having enough, paycheck to paycheck. Some of us are living in the bit of just getting by because everyone in your family has always just gotten by. You know? Some of you are breaking out of that bit and are now coming to a place where I'm comfortable, and that's your bit. Everything in my life is comfortable. It may not be perfect. When heavy expenses come up, sometimes you got to scrounge a little, but you're not struggling. And then you develop a bit inside of that. Who are you? as this person now when you don't have to struggle. You'll see some people, they're very like open personality, like talking to everybody, loving on everybody, joking with everybody, all types of shit. And then once they achieve the pinnacle of where they want to be, the bit gets taken off. And then people accuse them of saying, you know, you've changed. You're not the same person I knew anymore. Of course, because I stopped playing that bit that made you feel comfortable. Okay? That's why we don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things that you stop doing because it's unhealthy for you, but it was comfortable for everyone else. And that was the bit. You were committed to it. And now y'all are breaking up. Okay? So what bit are you committed to? 2, what are you going to do about it? Okay? Do you even like this bit? Are you going to make a new one? Are you going to decide to be free of any bits? Now, I went through my season of being free of bits, and I will tell you that was a shadow work season. I'm not even going to lie, because I think during that time, I was just like, I'm tired of fucking playing the games with everybody. Fuck them. You know? And even where I'm at right now, I am not committed to any fucking bit. Anytime I start to see and it starts to peel at me that a bit is controlling a certain aspect of my life, I have to get rid of it. And it may suck. It may suck, okay? Sometimes I don't need to get rid of it. I just need to put it on sometimes, right? So thinking about that and understanding that ideal allows you to break free of certain limitations. And being inside of those limitations allows you to access certain points. But then when you take off the limitations, you understand where your power lies and that you've just been creating that bit and the scenario that keeps that bit running. 12 on the clock. Boo. Okay. So now let's talk about, how do you create a new bit, or how do you even let's go with, how do you let a bit go? Because that's the one right there. Let me tell you some shit right here. I'm going to tap in with y'all real quick, because so when I realized that I was kind of playing into the, what's the word, spirit? The light worker bit. But I've never actually been like, just like, oh, I'm a light worker, airy fairy, because I always thought it was bullshit. But it's like certain parts of who I was operated in those areas. And when I would get around real people who operated in that 100%, 110% all day, every day, they was light workering their life away. You know what I'm saying? And I would just be like, you're so committed to the bit that you can't see that you're sabotaging yourself. You're so committed to the bit that you're populating unhealthy ideas around every single person around you that you're teaching, you know? And I started to realize that, but then I also started to see like how some things just don't make sense, but they're useful, right? And so like, let's give an example. I had a crystal shop, and so I love crystals, guys. Like, that's just, it's so cute. Like, crystals are so cute. And I'm not gonna lie, like, back in the olden days, the beginning of my spiritual journey, I just used to collect rocks, like not even crystals, like legitimate rocks. I would dig them out of Georgia clay soil, and I would just be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like, I would just, this is so embarrassing. But yeah, like that was just like a good pastime of mine. So then when I tapped into crystals, I was like, oh my God, they're amazing. And I can get it in this color and this color and this color. And this means this and this means this. And, you know, when I had my crystal shop, I just used to love having the crystals. But then there was so much consumerism around crystals. And the thing is that crystals are beautiful. They're great for talismans. They're great for amulets. They're great for using for a ritual rite, because you can program them with an intention. But there's also this weird energy around crystals. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's almost like they're like it gets real weird on the ethicality part of things. Like I can't explain it, but it's like people will have thousands of crystals and start to attach personalities to those crystals. Now, crystals are extensions of Gaia, right? So I have a selenite right here, right? It's an extension of Gaia, and each crystal type has an energetic over energy. I don't want to call it a soul because it's not that. It's like a it's like an energy reservoir that contains knowledge. Sometimes it becomes embodied, but I think about this as like an elemental. Like your body has an elemental, etc., etc. But like people get weird with it, right? And they start to project their own consciousness into items, right? Now, let me give you an example. So when you pick a crystal and the crystal is reflecting back to you an aspect of you that needs healing, that needs work, that needs attention, blah, blah, blah. That is the feeling of the energy being pulled to you. Just like when it's time to clean the crystals, okay? So like when I'm ready to like do a crystal charging or to clean my crystals because the energy in my house or my office is a little bit wonky, I'm walking around, I'm like, hey, who the fuck wants to get in this box? And I will hear me, not me. I'm good. Don't fucking touch me. Right? And I'm projecting my energy into that crystal to feel what it feels like. So I know what crystals to put in that box. Is it a fun experience to feel like I'm talking to little Merce in my room? Of course it is. But like, is that the actuality of this happening? Probably not. You know what I mean? But what it does do is it allows me to project my energy out into a thing and to understand what I need to do right now to fix the problem that's happening inside that thing. And sometimes those things don't need anything. So I don't get a reflection. And sometimes I do, and I do get a reflection, right? What I want you guys to understand is that there are certain bits that you're committing to. For example, what is something that you absolutely hate? I'll give you an example. So my biggest issue, I was severely church hurt, and I have seen people in my family church hurt, and I had a real hard problem with Jesus, okay? And I was just like, hey, yo, Jesus, we cannot fuck around no more. Like, I just can't fuck with you, right? And it like, I had to go through a season where me and Jesus had to get it together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just fucking around, y'all. But me and Jesus had to get it together, okay? Like, he was like, look, ABCD thing, okay, I understand. But that's not me. Like, fuck with me, not whatever the fuck that is. And I was just like, okay, like, I could fuck with that. You know what I mean? And just like giving him a little bit of time to work with him on a one-on-one basis, not necessarily in a religious basis. And it took me time to work myself out of that bit, right? I ran from Christianity into the occult. Like, I was just like, wow, I gotta get the fuck up out of here, right? When I was in that space where I was like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here, that's exactly what I did. So it took me sitting down with the entity that was projected across this man-made ideaism, right? That made me feel uncomfortable. And so I needed to understand how to allow myself out of that. When you are in and actually that season allowed me to release any religious extras that I had. For example, like I would still watch like preachers. I would still like get into like certain types of what I call like esoteric Christianity, like kind of learning more about the esoteric side of like the Gnostic side of Christianity, all that type of stuff. And when I'm telling you, like, I just had to put this shit down. Okay, I just had to put it down. I had to put it down, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not that. Now, the information sometimes does come in handy, okay? Like, I had to go through like a 6-month period of looking up Mary Magdalene and like learning about that shit. And Jesus was like, hey, boo. And I'm like, nigga, back the fuck up. Like, we ain't that friendly, but we cool now, okay? But that's what I'm saying. So, what type of bit are you keeping up with, right? What type of bit do you are you continuing to pervade, right? And is that commitment to that bit more important than what you're striving to do, where you're planning to go, and what about that bit is keeping you consistent with it? Is it comforting? Is it easy because it allows people to accept you sooner because you make them comfortable or you make them laugh or you make them feel safe? But what about the negatives of that thing? What if it makes you suppress your feelings? What if it makes you abandon yourself for other people's comfort? What if you just simply don't even know who you are anymore because you've become the bit? I'm sure there's more to that, but we're going to stop right there, okay? Because this video is already long as shit. But today, I want you to sit down and reflect. Get your journal out, bitch, because this is a journaling type of season, okay? And I want you to ask yourself, what bits am I committed to that are a detriment to my authentic self? And am I willing to change that? Okay? And I want you to talk about it. I want you to make a list, okay? What bits are you committed to today? Okay? And then after you see that, hear that, know that, then I want you to ask yourself, is this bit serving me or not? You know, I used to be one of those people who would just laugh off when people were racist, prejudiced, sexist, overstepping my boundaries. And I would just laugh it off and be like, whatever. I don't do this shit no more. Like, if someone is acting a little crazy, I'm going to look at them a little crazy, right? If somebody says some shit that's fucked up, I'm going to be like, you said words. And I don't really fuck with what you're saying. And sometimes we're not in the right place to tell somebody we don't fuck with what they're saying. But that don't mean we got to agree with it. And that don't mean that we have to shut the fuck up to make them feel comfortable. Sometimes silence says enough. Sometimes a blank ass stare says enough. But what I want you to know is you don't have to hide behind that bit anymore. You don't have to be the bit. Be you. Whoever the fuck that is. And if you don't know who that is, I'm going to need you to come on in here and start dating yourself. We're not talking about your boo thing over there. And no, we're not talking about the reflections of your best friend. And no, we're not talking about the reflections you see in your cat, your dog, or whatever. We're talking about you, okay? Taking you out. What do you even like to wear? Are you wearing what you feel like you need to wear to be acceptable? Or are you wearing what you're like, oh, that makes me feel like me? Do you have an interest that you've been putting off because you're too afraid to be in that community? I spent my entire 20s in the BDSM community. And when I tell you, there are so many people that I've met that were so afraid to even reach out into the community, are practicing solo, not because they wanted to, but because they were too afraid to put themselves out there. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel good. And sometimes that means it's time to set some boundaries with some people. And for other times, it's time to stop asking permission to be yourself. No more permission asking. Stop asking permission. It's better for you to be yourself and apologize for others' discomfort, adjusting to the change. because it's you. It's your life. It's your words. Be you. And stop giving a fuck about what anybody has to say. Because that shit don't shake and it don't matter. I love you. Thank you for tapping in with me today. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, boo.